Welcome back, everyone. This is a Saturday episode of the Ask Me Anything session with ECA. I have on today MarKeisha Snath from Sire, and I have Paul Stout on half my co-hosts as well. Gladys and Nigel should be here in a second. I know Nigel's doing his big talk today as well, so he might be on a little bit late. And Gladys got lost, but that's fine. We're all here today. So how's everyone doing today?
Good.
Paul?
How are you doing today, Kenneth?
I'm tired. I've been working till like 3 a.m. for the past 3 weeks, and I just moved to a new apartment. But my movers didn't move all my stuff, so I have to pick it up the rest up today, which is wonderful.
Yeah, moving is definitely tough. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Paul?
I was just going to answer the earlier question. I'm doing a lot better now that I can get myself off mute.
Yeah, they left. They tried blaming me and saying I had too much stuff to move. They just left half of it. I'm like, well, this is part of your job, though. Building a job description. But,
Yeah, moving's always super stressful.
yeah. But I got it done for the most part. I'll get the rest finished, so I won't complain too much. But for today's topic, we're going to be covering the myths and some of the truths of being inside cybersecurity from an entry-level perspective. That's what everyone always complains or yells to me about. Why do jobs require 5 years experience? There's no entry level. There's no point being inside cybersecurity. So how's this going to work is the first 30 minutes, we'll have certain talking points that I've listed out inside the doc that we'll cover. Then for another 15 minutes, we'll cover MarKeisha's famous tweets and what those are talking about. We'll go from there. The last 15 minutes will be Q&A. Sound good, everyone?
Fantastic.
Awesome. I think Gladys is able to make it. Hey, Gladys.
Hey. Good morning, everybody.
Hey.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Gladys?
I'm here. Busy, but we're alive.
Sounds like
Honestly, it sounds like everybody on this call, because we are entrepreneurs and also still working, some of us, in these 9 to 5. So it's tough, right? Kenneth, you're staying
It's
up
tough.
till 3 in the morning. I've been staying up until midnight trying to knock some stuff out. Paul, I'm sure you too. Gladys, I'm sure you as well. So, man, 2 months into 2026.
Yeah, people don't understand how hard this is, but we're doing it.
Even though we want to quit sometimes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So first question for what I'll ask is, what does entry level mean towards everyone here for the audience, and some of the co-hosts as well? I'll go with you first, MarKeisha. What does entry level mean to you within cybersecurity?
Well, let's say. So I'm pretty sure we've all seen that entry level now is looking at least 3 years of experience, right? I would say overall entry level, in my opinion, is when you really don't, you haven't been into the weeds of working in corporate quite yet. You may have just graduated from high school, you may have just graduated from college, and you just haven't had that real world experience. That's what it means to me. Now, in terms of cybersecurity, we are now starting to see that organizations are requiring at least 3 to 5 years minimum experience. So that means that would be somebody who's probably fresh out of college, or somebody who's probably trying to get into an internship. That would pretty much be entry level. You just haven't done the groundwork. And you haven't done the nitty gritty of the day to day.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I feel like entry level is so misunderstood in the field right now. And unfortunately, what the word says is not actually what it is in this field. But yeah, I can definitely agree that entry level should be straight up from college, or even if no college, at least with some certifications, should be considered entry level. But unfortunately, it's not what it is. So what does entry level mean to me? To me, I think entry level in cybersecurity means knowing how to do the job. Literally, It's what it is. It's not what the word says, but it's knowing how to do the job. Like, have you learned enough tools that you feel comfortable saying, I can do this role? Like, when you look at a job description, can you confidently say you can do that job or you qualify for that job? And for most people, it's a no. So that's what I'll say.
Yeah, I think that there's a bit of confusion between the job title and the job expectations. And I'm the same way. When I think entry level, I mean, I think someone right out of college, or I think an internship. That's kind of touching on a broader phenomenon of title bloat. I know that some banks, by the time you've been there for about 12 years, you automatically get the title vice president. So what I think these entry level, using the air quotes, jobs mean is they really mean junior level. To the other's point, someone who's qualified to do the job, someone who knows how to do the job, not so much at an academic level, but also as a practical level. But still, that 3 to 5 years experience is putting you right up at the upper edge of a junior level position, if you ask me.
Okay. Yeah, I feel well. Entry level in cybersecurity means different things to different people, right? To me, because cybersecurity is a subset of IT and it is a specialty, there is a prerequisite that they expect you to have some type of background experience to be able to jump in and do the job. From that standpoint, I don't. I always find it kind of weird people make gripes about it because every field is towards a certain extent. If you're a lawyer, if you're a junior lawyer, you have to still go to law school and pass the bar for 8 years. If you're a junior doctor or starting out, you have to go to medical school for 8 years and do residency, right? So every high-paying field or lucrative field has restrictions like this as well, and that's just part of the game. But that's my 2 cents for it. And then, are there any like surface misconceptions that people oftentimes try to construe with entry level in cybersecurity from your guys' perspective?
Misconceptions. So I guess I'll go first. In terms of misconceptions, I think, again, in the cybersecurity space, I think the biggest misconception I see right now is that people think, oh, I'm just going to get 1 or 2 certifications and then I'll be hireable and then I'm going to get a 6-figure job. And I'm like, that's a big misconception. You are not going to get a 6-figure job. No one's going to pay you 6 figures for having 1 or 2 certifications. So it's important that people understand the real roadmap into this industry. It's not about certifications. It's about, can you do the job? And so even if you have certifications, that's great. We appreciate that, but you still have to learn some of the advanced level stuff. You can't just come in here and be going around with certifications. I see some people, you've all seen this, some people have 5, 6 certifications. And so they think, oh, I am more than qualified. And why am I not getting an interview? I mean, because you're not qualified, clearly. Certifications are not the job, basically, is what I'm trying to relay here. So that's a big misconception that I see in the entry level side of things.
Yeah, I think it's great that you mentioned that, Gladys, because I mean, I believe I've been, there was somebody posted a post about this. I'm not sure if Kenneth is going to bring it up, but I had definitely put it on Twitter from LinkedIn, and it was around people actually having the credentials right behind their names. And it was emphasizing that if you don't have the credentials, you don't have the certifications, or you don't have the degree to back it up, you're pretty much like, you have no room to be in this space as a subject matter expert. And in my opinion, I think that a lot of people get the degrees. I think that a lot of people get the certifications, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are the subject matter expert in that particular specialization, in my opinion, right? You have to be able to apply that skill set to the work that you're doing every single day. And just because you have the certification, tons of people have certifications and they know absolutely nothing. I mean, we've been in interviews with people and they can't speak to what's on their resume, or they can't speak to what they've done in that certification or to pass that certification, right? So the whole theory versus application is very important. And I really want people to stop emphasizing this need to get the certifications and just rack it up, or emphasizing the fact that, oh, I have to have the certifications to get the job. Absolutely not. I got my first cybersecurity role and had 0 certifications. I honestly don't continue to really get certifications unless I need to get the certifications. And in reality, you don't need to get certifications to truly move up. It's about how you show up. Can you showcase your value? Can you speak to your strategy? How tactical are you when you are in that workplace? You know, what problems are you coming to solve? Can you be a partner to your management? Like, people are thinking too much about certification and going and getting the degrees, and they have absolutely 0 clue how to apply that and be somebody that you actually want to work with and hire, right? Certifications don't replace personality. They don't replace how you think. Like, that stuff, you know, comes with the experience, the hands-on, which is what a lot of people are missing.
You know, I think I'm going to continue on the certification chain here. I think that there's a subset of people that believe that a certification is an instant badge of authority, that you get the certification and it instantly entitles you to be in any room. The reality is, at least in the roles that I have held, the only jobs that have ever required a certification for anything have been consulting jobs. And that's because either your contract with your OEM or with channels or with the clients require those certifications. I would say some of the most qualified people that I know on given platforms never even achieved a certification. They learned it as part of their job. They grew into it. And because they were comfortable where they were and with what they were doing, they were just never required to. I was never required to get certifications in the work that I do until I moved out of that corporate setting and into consulting. So it's, you know, we talked, I think it was the last AMA or maybe the one before, about how when a job description is posted, generally speaking, you're looking to get about 2/3 to 3/4 of the requirements that are on there. So going back to the qualification and education thing, it's, to me, you can kind of look at it as a triangle. And the vortices of the triangle are, you've got experience, you've got education, and you've got certification. Whatever you're lacking in one, you're going to need to make up on the other ones. But the experience side of this equation far outweighs the other two.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. Same for Paul, because we come from similar backgrounds from the standpoint of people both work in consulting. We both work with Smoke and Cribble a lot. So when I worked at EY, because our clients put their contract, if you bring the person on, they need to have Splunk ES to access certain levels of enterprise security, right? That's inside of the contract. Second part was that would be when they're hiring on people, they get certain paybacks and credit through people that get the certification. If you lie about that, they can take that money away and get in trouble. So they're very specific and strict about some people that have certifications, or if they're expired, you have to tell them that. It's okay if you don't have it, they'll pay for you to get it. You just have to be upfront about it. A lot of times people were not upfront about it and they got fired because of it. That's why I tell people, like, don't lie on your resume, because they will find out eventually. It's just, they get paid a lot of money, especially for EY, especially for banks, like Big Four consulting. They're extremely strict on those type of things. They would check they ask you to give your bank statements and your bank account information through your stock information to actually track it, to make sure you're not doing insider trading or trading with other firms or working for other firms. So for that side of the house, it is very hard to work 2 jobs, because they do track everything. They always ask extra questions. So keep that in mind for people that are trying to be overemployed, which is a whole different topic.
Yeah, I think somebody else called out government, and I think that is a great call out there, Farron, because when it does come to government work or government contracting, the contracting company does get, from what I've heard, a little stipend for you coming in with certain certifications. Even having the clearance level is a plus. So yes, it does also matter where exactly you're working, right? So yeah, great call out there.
So We have questions as well. Gabriel Gonzalez puts, is this a way for companies to pay more qualified people less money?
Yeah. I mean, companies don't necessarily want to pay out nowadays, right? It's an employer's market. So if they can get anybody who's going to accept that certain pay that they're offering, then why not? Why not test the waters to see who's going to bite? Right. So I think it's a great mention here, but at the end of the day, I still do think that it's really important that you know your worth, that you know what exactly it is that you want in your next role. I don't think that I know that people are probably in desperate times, but I do think when it comes to getting a job, you should understand that you too hold a lot of decision making when it comes to that, and you shouldn't be desperate in making your decision. So just keep those things in mind when you're looking for the job. You want to make sure that you're also being paid well, and if you're looking at a job description that has a title saying one thing and the responsibilities are not clear or they're all over the place, just think about what that means for your future at that company.
Yeah, and I think that it's important to understand in respect to this question, it's important to understand the industry overall in the current situation. So like if you understand how demand and supply works, you'll clearly see that in cybersecurity now we have a higher demand than supply. So it just makes sense for the employers to have the upper hand at this time at least. So yeah, it is what it is kind of right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to echo that. I don't think it's a deliberate attempt to mislead and to down level skills. I think it's just a function of this is very much a buyer's market in terms of in terms of companies and hiring. There are far more jobs out there, far more people out there to fill jobs than there are jobs available. And anytime you get in that situation, you're going to have competition even within a job. One thing that I loathed about working large corporate jobs is the vast majority of measures of success are good enough. It's not like when you're trying to change an industry where you want to put your best foot forward, where you're able to really flex and show what you're capable of. And in that, you will often find that you may apply for a job and be extremely qualified for it, and they just flat out don't want to pay for your level of skill. I've seen this in Splunk consulting all the time. I think the going rate right now for a entry-level Splunk consultant is about $60 an hour. And sometimes, just to see what kind of reactions I get, I reply to those and let them know my going rates. And either they ghost me or they say they try to force me back into it. So it's about knowing the expectations, knowing what you're trying to get into, but then also maintaining that awareness that by definition, if a company is requiring 3 to 5 years experience, that rules out entry level, like proper entry level. That rules out interns. That rules out of college.
Yeah, they'll try to lowball you a lot of the times. I've gotten that as well. Someone reached out to work for me for like an engineering position. It was like $45 an hour. It was like on site. I'm like, no.
I've seen sub 30, yeah.
I'm just like, no, good sir. That's not gonna work for me.
Don't get me wrong, you can get someone that will buy it at that rate. You also, well, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and then they leave after 3 months, you get something better, and then you're having to rehire, retrain, which is very expensive for firms.
There was a time in my career that I desperately needed a job, and I took an hourly rate far below what I was, what I thought I was worth. Well, the first 3 months, the same thing. I was at that job, and I was still looking for a job, and I got a rate that was commensurate with my experience, and I dropped my 2 weeks. So I can tell you firsthand that happens.
Yeah, so it definitely is interesting. Okay. So I'll go with MarKeisha for this first. I want to see what your guys' first cyber job was inside the field. So I'll go with you first, MarKeisha.
My first cyber job was a senior cloud ISO position at NASA. and I needed no.
Yeah, she top notch. She's not
I needed.
chilling with the baby down there.
Not gonna
She's
be able to
like,
beat that.
I'm just shooting high. Like, I don't care what you guys are doing down there. I'm just going for it. Like, I got the network. I don't care about you.
Sorry,
Just so
y'all.
you know, guys, this is not ideal. In the comments, please don't be fooled by her. This is not ideal. You are not gonna work at NASA for your first job. Just so you know, unless you know what you're doing, just like she did. Just to be clear.
Y'all are funny. No, I appreciate it.
Gladys.
For me, yeah, it was a very, very basic security analyst role. Just doing the basic SOC level stuff, and which is I think is most ideal for most people. So don't go high. I think, yeah, that's where I started, security analyst, and then grew my way up from there.
And then you, Paul.
Well, if you remember, most of my jobs, actually all of my jobs have been what I call cyber adjacent. So I've worked on the platforms that support cyber departments, things like Splunk, things like Cribble, automation platforms like Times, orchestration of that. But I don't think I've ever actually held a true cyber position. And based upon some of our past AMAs, I'm not entirely sure I'd want to. I like
Why
sleeping
is that? I'm curious. Why don't you want to?
Because I like sleeping at night and I like having my weekend days most of the time.
Yeah. I'm on call every other week for my job and I absolutely hate it. Every second of it. It's very awful. I got called at 4 a.m. this morning, but I couldn't wake up because I was dead tired. So someone else had to pick it up. I'll hear about that on Monday. That's fine though. So my first cyber job was I was a threat intelligence analyst at Public Supermarkets at Lakeland, their headquarters. So I worked in Delhi, like frying chicken, making sandwiches, getting threatened over like a $6 sandwich, which I never understood. It's $6. It's not that important, guys. So I was there for 3 years, and then I got promoted to go to corporate. I absolutely loved it. That was the first time I ever realized like what it meant to love your job. I thought that was like absolute BS. I never understood that. I've been like a kid. But when I got there, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, now I get it. It was amazing. I worked in like minor tech framework stuff. I got to speak to the CEO and CFO. It was a really amazing experience. And I begged my manager to come back. His name is Daniel. I think he's like a director at Mandiant now. I'm like, Dan, I told him like, I'll straight up clean the toilets every day before I go home. If you let me stay. He kind of chuckled. I'm dead serious. I'm like, I'm not joking. I'll do that. You let me stay. Like, I don't care. But they just didn't have the budget for me at the time. So I couldn't stay. I was pissed. They go back to Delhi making sandwiches. I'm like, this is beneath me. I'm not doing this anymore. For me, that was a really good motivation to like work harder to get up, I believe, in the next year, which I did. So yeah, that was my first experience with it. Then I did software engineering, then went back to cybersecurity. So I hate programming. Despise it. But no NASA for me though, MarKeisha. You have us all beat.
And I had a really great manager there as well. But that's when I figured like, oh, you don't need certs to really get into, it's cybersecurity. That's kind of where I learned, or that's how I saw it that way at least. But I know it's different for everyone.
Yeah. Well, we'll all get towards your level eventually. It's all good. Okay. So we'll answer a couple of questions and we'll go to MarKeisha's tweets because I want to get inside of those. Yeah, I want to retweet MarKeisha. I literally just like pen it and save it to use it. I'm like, oh, this is really cool, interesting. I'll use it later on.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
First one is these two are from Nigel. What exactly is Sire and how do I sign up? It's for you, MarKeisha.
Sure. So Sire is, and it's pronounced Sire or Sire, doesn't matter. Sire is a talent and strategy firm. So on the B2C side, so the consumer side, we work with individuals to help them navigate the job market. We do that in a few different ways. Our main focus is being able to help you showcase your value. And through that, that's through like career branding, so proper positioning in the market, which then allows you to become more favorable to hiring managers, recruiters, and just even your peers, right? You do need to ensure that you are appearing as an expert and a thought leader in the industry. So we help you to do that. On the business side and government side, we do AI governance strategy work. So we come in and we assess your AI usage. And then we also do things like create a governance program for you, create a framework for you, help you with your committee, and just ensuring that you have some type of responsible AI in practice. Nowadays, with AI being so popular, but AI has been around for decades. For us, it's really about helping people navigate overall in this AI modernized world that we have currently. So getting around the application tracking systems and working in environments where AI usage is becoming super popular. That's what we do across the landscape. And in terms of getting in touch with me, you can definitely reach out via email at hello@xire.io, or you can reach out for a discovery call at xire.io/discovery. And I will make sure I put that in the chat.
I'm on mute. I forgot what I was saying. Anyways, I was saying we're doing our payment stuff because baby needs a new pair of shoes, so don't charge us. So next up, Nigel puts what's all included inside the Elements and Cyber range. So both Paul and Nigel are part of the Cyber range. So as most of you know, I don't like try to hack me. I think it gamifies the platform too much, and it extrapolates a lot of the back end work that you need to do to understand how to be successful within the field. So MarKeisha, like Splunk or Cribble or Linux, takes a lot of that back end knowledge away, so it's hard to actually fully understand it. So if MarKeisha or Gladys or me interview someone, it's very obvious they don't actually understand how to do the nuts and actually work from the back end, right? Which becomes very obvious. So what we did is we designed the platform and community to actually properly train people within like the threat intelligence, threat hunting, infrastructure side of cybersecurity. And so we're bringing different hiring managers and experts to speak with you guys as well and do actual live workshop series for that. So right now, Nigel's doing it, the intelligence one. My mentor, Steve Copeland, he developed his own custom Splunk app for us for ECA. That's just for my clients and members. That goes through a live range and simulations you guys can do for those various topics as well. We charge you a monthly fee to be able to join that, and then you have access towards that for everything per a monthly basis. So the link is inside the chat for it. If you have questions about it at all, just let us know. We're here to help and support you guys out. And the goal is to get, I think, 100 paid members by March. So we'll see if that happens or not. We're like at 30, I think. But that's it for me. And then I think Gladys, you're up.
Yeah. I think, what was the question again? Is it what do we provide?
Well, Gladys, do you do coaching?
Oh, okay. Yes, I do coaching. I am a cybersecurity career coach. So basically helping career changers get their first job or second job in cybersecurity. So if you're struggling with not knowing what to do, not knowing where to start, maybe you're brand new and you just don't know where to move, that's what we provide. At this point, yeah, I do coaching on the paid side, but we also have a free version. So feel free to join my community on School. It's completely free to join for now. I think someone will paste the link in there for you guys to join the community if you are serious about your career. But please keep in mind, my community is for those who are serious about getting into cybersecurity. If you're not there yet, then this is probably not the place for you, because you're going to get very, very confused if you're there and you don't know what you're doing or you're not serious. But if you're serious and you really want to put in the work into this, we do have a ton of resources that you're going to be used to get started in the field. And again, it's free to join. So yeah, just go ahead and copy the link and drop in your browser, and you will be able to join us for free there. That's the first step to getting to me. But if you want to get ahead and get faster to get coaching with me, feel free to message me on LinkedIn. You can always reach me on LinkedIn. If you DM me on LinkedIn, you're going to get a response ASAP, and we can get you started.
Glad I kindly put, please don't waste your time, in a very polite, professional manner. I like it.
For real.
Yeah, I mean, we're all here to try to help, and if you're not serious, like, straight up, don't waste my time. That's the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, I get on, oftentimes people try to build calls with me, and they're either driving or they're eating. I'm like, hey, listen here, man. I'm like, I'm busy. I'm like, if you don't really want to do this, that's fine. Just book another time. Never book another time. Which saved me an hour. I knew they were going to pay attention.
Yeah. It's literally something we wish we all had when we started, right? Like, I think that's like the dream for anyone, to have someone to give you direction. We don't always have that. Even us as business owners, we have specific parts of our business that we need help with, and we don't have someone to help us figure that out. And so having someone who has been in that position and helping you get there, it's just the dream come true. But when you have someone trying to waste your time, it's like, man, please, I'm not doing this, Yeah.
Awesome. So next up is my favorite part, and I was doing this, I think 2 nights ago. I told everyone about it. We're going to go through MarKeisha's post on Twitter. For those of you that don't know, MarKeisha is a lot more liberal with her stuff on Twitter. She's not as buttoned up as she is on LinkedIn, so it's very interesting to see her perspective. So I picked up 3 posts that I want to gain some insights from MarKeisha, to see what her actual thoughts are from the source. Let me see, let me share my screen.
This is funny. Because I just tweet away.
You definitely do. It cracks me up so much.
Yeah. I mean, if it worked for LinkedIn, I would do the same thing, but it doesn't really work like that. So
nah. So this was, I'm gonna say this was like 3 weeks ago. It took me like 30 minutes to try to find it. I was very persistent about it. So Simone Bez Bees posted, people are too pressed to work in cybersecurity. There are so many tech disciplines where you can make 6 figures. And then you reposted this, which I highly agree with. I told everyone that you don't have to be in cybersecurity. There's a lot of different ways you can make a lot of money. It doesn't have to be cybersecurity. And people tell me it's hard or this is fair, I'm like, all right, cool. So what are you gonna do about it? Like you complain about it isn't gonna solve anything. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice in work to either change the system or better yourself within it to make more money for yourself and your family? And a lot of times they get like blank stares or just more complaints. So I'm like, all right, okay, you're not gonna actually do anything about this, right? If you think cybersecurity isn't for you or too hard, there's other disciplines like being an SRE or cloud or data or product design that you can do and make probably even more money than cybersecurity. So you don't have to be in such a field if you don't want to, right? That's just the honest truth about it. What are your thoughts, MarKeisha?
yeah, I mean, with just going back to this tweet and what I had posted on here, I think the main, or what I was trying to get at was, because B's post can be a little bit confrontational a little bit. And I was just trying to make sure that I mentioned, I don't want people to think I have to get into cybersecurity or there's nothing else. A lot of people think that technical roles are the only types of roles in tech or cybersecurity, and that is not the case. There's also those non-technical roles where you don't have to do programming, coding, and things of that sort, and like development and stuff like that. So that was really what I was trying to mention here, that there are other options and you have to do your due diligence to figure out what else is out there. I find a lot of people get stuck in the first thing I'm going to see, that's what I'm going to do. People don't like to research. And I always say too, if you are a person who doesn't like to research and you can't find answers out on your own, probably cybersecurity is not for you, because you're not willing to take the extra step to figure things out on your own or to get to where you want to get to. So just because somebody could take a post like what B said And I absolutely love bees. But somebody could take that post and they could misconstrue it and think, oh, like, I have to do this. And that's not the case. It's just so much more that you can do and still be successful. And like Kenneth said, you can still make a lot of money doing it, right? And again, think about, do you want this to be a career or are you just chasing money? Because if you're just chasing money, that's another topic, right? That's another strategy that you need to look at in terms of just getting to the bag. But if this is a passion for you, you also have to think about, okay, where do I want to see myself ultimately in my career? If I want to be a CISO, what do I have to do to get there? If I want to be a CTO, what do I have to do to get there? And you should work backwards. So it's always important that you have some type of goal in mind and you have a plan to work towards that. But again, you have to do your due diligence. You have to know that there's so many opportunities out there for you. Just don't get stuck in this idea that you have to code and you have to be super technical when there's so much more that goes into working in cybersecurity or tech in general.
I liken it towards like someone tell me, you're not actually, I don't know, in the restaurant business unless you're like a chef. I'm like, that's not true.
Right.
No one pays $100 for a meal, like walk inside the kitchen and make the food themselves or get their plate. That's not how it works. There's a lot of adjacent stuff that goes inside being successful inside that field. I should know because that was my other career path before I went down this path, right? So for most industries, the actual thing people actually think about, if you're an athlete or you work in sports, it's actually only a small component of it, right? There's a lot of like infrastructure that goes inside of actually planning, designing, making sure the events or the structure is built properly. Same thing for most fields, like the medical field, like construction field, like marketing, right? So there's a lot of things that go inside of it, which is why it's always been very annoying when people say, "Oh, you don't actually work in the tech field if you're not technical." I'm like, that's not really how it works. That's not how any field works.
I see that a lot too on Twitter. These conversations. I think there was a conversation around technical recruiters and if they're considered to be individuals who work in the tech space. There's, and like B said here, there's so many tech disciplines where you can make the six figures. Find out where you fit in and do that, right? But I think a lot of people are just chasing whatever they see out there and think that it's end all be all. They're not doing the research and they don't know what they're doing. They're just following the leader per se. And they're getting frustrated when they can't actually land the job. You're trying to come in immediately doing penetration testing. That's not how it works. You have to work your way up, but you have this idea that, oh, I'm going to be like so-and-so because that's what they did. That's why I'm happy Gladys said, or the question you asked, Kenneth, about what was our first cybersecurity role. And I'm happy Gladys said, don't necessarily think that you can just automatically go in working at NASA as a senior cloud ISO like I did, right? Like, that was an opportunity I got and I was so blessed to have that opportunity. But don't feel like, oh, if you don't reach that right now, that you are not successful. That's not the case. Everybody's journey is going to be different. And that's what that's what, we're talking about on here. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Just figure out what it is you love and stick to that.
Very well said. Anyone have anything else to add? Oh, and hey, Nigel. Nice of you to make it.
What it do?
The cool cat with the glasses on.
What's up? What's up, man? I'm just glad to be here, be a part of the Avengers crew. A lot of game has been shared. If you don't follow MarKeisha, Paul, and Gladys, make sure you tap in with them, man. A lot of very knowledgeable insights about cybersecurity. I'm just glad to be here. Kenneth, what's up, man? What's up? All right, Kenneth.
If I had to guess, he's probably trying to answer you on mute.
Is he on mute again?
Yeah. It's hard to tell because you've got the...
Oh, yeah, he has a QR code.
Yeah, you've got a QR code where Kenneth should be.
Wait, am I on mute?
Yes, you were on mute.
What? No,
He loves the mute button.
I can't even see my face. It's just that duck thing.
Exactly. You're the duck today.
You supposed
Yeah.
to be duck.
I got moved up, everyone. That's fine. It's
All
my
this
show.
advertising Kenneth is doing. Look at that. Now the
Yeah.
duck is blocking him.
That's okay.
Nice.
That's okay.
Is
But
there any questions in the chat that we can answer?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of questions. We should probably go through more questions. Like, these people, we can really help them. So, you want to pin some questions, Kenneth?
Sure. Let me see.
We're here to help, guys. Keep your questions coming.
Hey, did try to hack me cover up for experience, and what does one do if they try to hack me? Nigel, I'll let you go.
Yeah, does it cover for experience on its own? No. How you can build upon Try Hack Me is it's going to walk you through a lot of the labs. So what you should do is stand up your own home lab, right? So take the fundamental knowledge that you're learning through Try Hack Me, spin up some VMs, some virtual machines, and do that within your own environment and build upon that. And that's going to help you close that experience gap by being able to speak to certain scenario questions that you may get asked in an interview. So make sure that what you're working on aligns with the roles that you're interested in, and that's going to help you. But Try Hack Me on its own is not going to be enough to cover that experience gap, but you can cover it by doing hands-on labs and learning specific skills that are needed for the role.
Yep, I think I want to follow back a little bit on that. I made a post on my was it on TikTok? Yeah, I made a post on my TikTok, I think last month, and that's spun up a lot of discussion on this topic, because some people are like, Try Hack Me is enough, Try Hack Me is not good, Try Hack Me is like, but in my opinion, my post was about Try Hack Me is fine when you're just starting out to like get your hands dirty and gain the basics and just do some stuff. But in terms of getting you the job, Try Hack Me will never be enough to get you the job. So just like Nigel said, you have to still do things on your own. You have to actually go out there and figure out, okay, I want to do this job. Maybe I want to become a SOC analyst. So what tools does a SOC analyst uses at work? What tools do I have to learn? Rather than doing all the penetration testing stuff out there, doing all the different rooms in JRC and Linux and all that. You need Linux basics, you need Windows basics, all these things. Try Me is going to give you that. But again, these are the basics, and you have to go a little bit more than that because the field is so competitive. So if you just stay at the bottom, that's where you're going to be. So you have to do things on your own to prove to the employer that you can actually do the job, or you can at least be trainable. Yeah.
To the point about having a home lab, every single serious professional I know in this space has a home lab. If you're trying to learn a new skill, you're going to need that home lab because quite often you're not going to have time or the opportunity in whatever you're currently working on to be able to work with net new technologies. Now, if you're happy in what you do and you don't necessarily want to move forward or necessarily want to move up, then that's not a requirement. I've got 8 VMs running right now with different things I'm trying out. Some of them I'm trying out stuff for clients. Some of it I'm trying to just see what else I can learn about it. And if I think back with everyone I know who was very, very serious about what they did, wanted to learn how to do more, wanted to push the boundaries of the field that they're in, having that home environment, having something that dedicated, always on, always available to you is going to be far, far more beneficial than any academic or any program.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then we'll do one last post from MarKeisha, then we'll answer other questions. There's one more I want to cover.
MarKeisha been going strong on Twitter, on X.
Same.
What is it called? X or Twitter. You all go follow her on Twitter, guys. What are you still waiting for? She got all the juice there. That's like it.
It's another one from MarKeisha. So this one was again, like I think 2 weeks ago or a week ago. I can't count. So I guess someone talking about how their husband had to do a 4 hour a day commute. So I guess 2 hours each way. And people were arguing that they would never do that under any circumstances. Which I'm like, so I guess your family's gonna start with that then? I'm like, what are we talking about here? I don't know, like I feel like modern humans are so soft now. Our ancestors literally had to walk like the entire day to get food and water. And now we're like, oh, a 20-minute drive, I can't do that. It's too hard for me. I won't survive. So it's just like my thing has always been, if you're not willing to sacrifice for things you want, someone else will, and then they will get them. That's just how life is. So you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to do to take care of yourself and your family? I would drive if I had kids and a wife. I would drive 4 hours to be able to take care of them. Right, if that's the only choice that I had. I would also look for other jobs as well to improve that situation. So I'm not dead tired when I get home. But if that's the only thing that prevents us from like being on the streets, then that's what I'll do. Right, to me, it isn't that complicated, personally speaking.
You can learn how to optimize that too. And this isn't just theoretical. I had that 4 hour commute when I worked at Splunk. I lived in San Jose and I commuted to San Francisco. And on average in traffic, it was 2 hours there, 2 hours back. So what I would do is I would time meetings where I knew that I just didn't need to be in front of a computer or taking notes. And I would actually take them on Bluetooth safely from the car during my commute. So it's all about how kind of you hack the schedule to work with it. And, Kenneth, to your point, it's about how badly do you want it and what do you want to do? I wanted to keep working for that company. I joined it pre-IPO. I wanted to keep building what we were building there. I thought we were onto something pretty cool. And here we are 20 years later, and the market shows, yeah, we were onto something cool there. So that's a real thing. And you can even work within that. Now, ultimately, I learned how to ride motorcycles so I could cut that commute in half. But yeah, it's all in what you want and how you structure it.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
MarKeisha?
I mean, I guess obviously everybody's situation is different, right? The reason I asked is because was working at a company where it was return to work. And generally, a lot of the requirements are if you live within 50 miles, you have to come into work. And if you live outside of the 50 miles, maybe you can keep staying 100% remote. Well, it was a little different. They didn't care where you lived. If you were required to report, you had to report. For me, I don't think that it is, I prefer 100% remote. And if I do have to come into the office, I don't mind coming in maybe twice a month or maybe a little bit more. But 3 times a week is just not my forte. And honestly, I do value my the time that I do get to spend with my family because I'm also a business owner and I don't have that much time, right? So my life is a little bit different. I think work-life balance is super important. If I have to spend 4 hours on the road, you need to be paying me $400,000, $500,000 a year to be making that commitment to a company that can let me go at any time. Again, I'd rather spend that time with my family. And like Paul said, you can definitely time things around not having to be on camera and do FaceTime. But again, personally, it's just something that I just don't feel I would want to do. But everybody's situation is different. They may not even have options out there. And so, for them, it's in this situation, it doesn't seem like this husband had many options. And so him going 100% remote would definitely be life-changing for his family. But of course, it was just a lot for him to be doing 4 hours commuting every single day.
Nigel, what about you? I know before you went into cyber, you were on site at your warehouse job.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much to add. It all depends on the situation. I guess to kind of build on it, let's set realistic expectations, more so for the topic of entry-level people trying to get into the field. The full remote the full remote time during COVID is over. Most organizations are moving more to at least a hybrid kind of mythology. I would say that if your skill set and maybe just a job in general, warrants remote, then you're lucky. But I think you should just do what makes sense for your situation, right? The more flexible you are, the more opportunities you'll have at your disposal, especially for an entry level. I hate saying entry level, but a new person trying to get into the field. I don't know the background behind the husband and stuff like that, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Gotta pay the bills.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody's situation is different. So it's really hard to say. But like I said, like I keep saying, know what you want, right? If you're comfortable with that, then you're comfortable with that. And if you're not, then you're just not. You don't have to follow the crowd, but you have to have your own decision. You have to make your own decisions in life. And you have to know exactly what you're working towards. You can't just be, I want to be in tech, I want to be in cyber, and that's it, and not know what the next steps are.
Well, and I think it's a difference when you know what you're walking into versus when the game gets changed on you. You know, we've talked about we got so used to this work from home, and a lot of companies are implementing these blanket or sometimes draconian return to work, return to office. You know, you made the point that some companies, it's if you live within 50 miles or if you live outside, some are just indiscriminate with it. I think when the rules change mid-game, it's certainly more jarring that, you know, I shared my experience of I had a 4-hour commute. I walked into that. I knew that from day one. I knew exactly what I was walking into and why I was willing to do it. So many different dynamics. One thing that we've covered on these past AMAs, though, is that especially in the entry level, junior level, starting level, whatever you want to label it, those remote opportunities are going to be fewer and further between. And Kenneth, you've mentioned this more than one time. You've got to go where the opportunities are. If we don't, if we're at that level and we know that a lot of the companies in the industry are going to require us to have some sort of office presence, maybe we want to consider moving closer to those companies so we can do public transit. I know a lot of people. So again, back to my example, I lived in San Jose going to San Francisco. There was no major public transit that serviced that. A lot of people that lived around the Bay Area that did the same thing, they would jump on the Caltrain, and then they've got a laptop set up and they're actually using that to get work done in the morning, right? So again, having that proximity to jobs, having the right expectations, and then understanding how to respond and what we want to do when those expectations change.
Yeah. If you want to sacrifice the things you want, it's the biggest moral of this. That's what I tell people. If you don't, I will. I promise you I will. But the last, 5 minutes or so, we'll answer any questions anyone had for us. I see a couple inside the chat. From LinkedIn user who doesn't say, I'm looking for a security policy position or governance risk and compliance role in order to utilize my political science philosophy bachelor's degree. Basically, he's asking, may I please have some advice on what other tech paths I can take? At the point with this disappointing economy, I'm open to any tech position.
Yeah, I would say with your background, I'm just going to make it simple. With your background, look at governance, risk, and compliance, right? Whether it's a policy analyst, whether it's risk analyst, whether it's compliance analyst, or a third-party risk audit, whatever the roles are within that domain, look into that. Learn some basic frameworks, whether it's NIST, RMF, ISO, SOC 2, whatever. Look into those different frameworks for that specific role. You can also go the privacy and data protection route based off your experience. So look at privacy data analysts, look at data protection analysts, things of that nature. Lastly, you can go an IAM and governance or access governance route as well. So think like an IAM, identity access management analyst. Think, anything in that realm, based off of your experience and what you've done in your degree. Those are 3 routes that you could go, that you should do some research on, learn some skills, do some hands-on, fictitious, risk registries and policy, policies that you can put in place and compliance controls, all these different things that you can do with minimal money spent on your end, but more hands-on experience that you'll be able to speak to in an interview, especially with your background. That's what I would do.
MarKeisha?
I mean, I think that's solid advice. I mean, GRC is my lane, so I mean, I agree. I think GRC analyst would be a great starting point, and there are different job titles for that, right? So, information security analyst, you may see, can even get into risk management or risk analyst, third party. In addition to that, probably some security awareness and training that would be good. You can do some plan of actions and milestone. Analyst type of work. I've seen that type of work. So you can do that. You can even go the help desk or IT support route, right? It doesn't have to be that GRC, but if you first start off trying to go towards a GRC analyst or GRC type of role, and you're just not finding anything, then I would suggest looking at help desk or IT support as options. And just so people are aware, because I feel like we keep hearing GRC, information security analyst market is definitely growing substantially, right? And I think last time when I had checked, like last year or something, it was expected to grow by like 28%, 29%, 30% from then up to 2030 or something. So it's definitely a place if people are looking to transition into cybersecurity. GRC, in my opinion, is the move as of right now.
It's also, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, are they cutting you a check for that, MarKeisha? I hope so.
Right. Definitely the way I said it, they should be cutting me a check for talking like that.
It's worth keeping in mind that as the need for GRC increases, as the number of frameworks and the amount of compliance burden increases, the need for auditors also increase. And I think we've been talking about this GRC from the audited side, but there's a whole booming market in people actually doing those audits.
All right. Well, I technically do a little bit of GRC for my job. I work for a federal consulting company. Plus a part of like what I have to do. I know I like auditors, but they do get paid pretty well. So
they do, and they have to have certifications. So I really and you tend to work for a company that is in like accounting, for example, and so there's money there.
Yeah, EY, Deloitte, PwC.
Yeah, if that's something that you want to do, definitely go that route.
Well, they can either pay you a lot or they can pay to settle a breach lawsuit a lot more.
Yes.
All right. Another question is, and this will be our last question. If you can't move to where the jobs are, would your best advice just be to try that much harder? What kinds of organizations would you suggest for your first job? I'll answer this question. So let's say if you live in Montana and you can't or you don't want to move, you want to do a technical job. I would ask where in Montana, right? If you live like in a small rural town, I'll be honest with you, it's very likely you'll get a job just to the nature of it. There's only 5,000 people inside your town. You don't have any technology jobs or companies. It is just unlikely you'll get a job inside that field, right? That's just how it is. If I lived in Kansas and I said I wanted to be a longshore fisherman, I want to stay in Kansas, it's probably very unlikely I'm going to get a job, right? It's just the reality of what the field is and what it requires. So do keep that in mind, right? And those are your limitations. I don't want you to have to waste time and money. You can do something else that might better suit you and your skill set. So keep that in mind for what you're trying to do. And then for organizations where you try to join, I'd probably say like MSSPs, because the job can be kind of stressful. Turnover is always so high, so they're always trying to hire. So I think turnover for some of the companies it's like 100% per year for a lot of them. So just like wait, they'll open another spot. Do know it is a lot of work and it can be very stressful. So most people don't stay at those firms too long, like ReliaQuest or Sideris, right? They get burned out or they leave, but it is a really good way to get a lot of experience really quickly.
If it's truly possible that you can't move, and I've actually seen a person do this. Look for, I'd say, even tech adjacent jobs. And so the person I'm thinking of specifically, he ended up as a director of client support at a software company. He started at Best Buy Geek Squad. And I think it's highly likely there would be a Best Buy Geek Squad close to you. Again, I don't know what your financial requirements are. I don't know if that kind of salary would cover. I'm saying all of this in a vacuum. But there are ways that you can start to break into it and start to get some level of experience with this. And then hopefully that would set you up to be able to move closer to where some of these organizations are. Or maybe you find out that after you've worked in a similar job like that, you're starting to get the skills where you could potentially jump into an IT help desk support. IT help desk support, to Kenneth's point, MSPs, and certain levels of software consulting are going to be more likely to be remote at lower levels. But those are also less likely that you're just going to walk into cold and start working for. So there's a number of different paths to get there depending on what your individual constraints and goals are.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Those are some
Goals
great-
are everything. And real quick, I just want to really appreciate. I see a lot of people in the comment section sticking out for me and just appreciating the help I give them. Thank you all so much. Probably people from my community. I see you, I feel you, so we're all in this together. And I feel like we have a lot more questions, but yeah.
We can ask more questions if you guys want.
Oh,
I
there
just
was an
saw-
interesting question in the chat, Ken. Did you see that? I saw someone ask, like, it's not related to cyber, but I think someone asked, how do you, I don't remember what that is, but they asked something like, how do we all match together this way and don't feel like we're competing with each other?
Oh,
Did you all see
Keegan?
that question? I like that question a lot.
Oh yeah, that's from Keegan. How do you flow
Yeah.
so smoothly and not let your brain business clash or compete? How did you all meet? So how did I meet all of you? I met Nigel through Honorary. I met MarKeisha through Honorary. I met Paul through Jordan and Tiffany. And then I don't know how I met you, Gladys. I don't know if it was through Honorary or through someone else.
I think
Wait.
through MarKeisha.
Yeah, it was. I think it was.
Yeah,
through
we
Mar-
had done like maybe a LinkedIn Live, and then maybe you had seen it. I'm not sure if that's how.
I think that might have been it.
No.
Then I got in a call with her.
Yeah.
I've met MarKeisha and Nigel in person. Nigel met my mom actually at B-Sides. She was very happy to see her baby boy doing well. I met MarKeisha when I was in DC. I think like last year, I think.
No, like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, right? It was 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then I'm going back to DC again, like in next month actually. So I'll probably get to see her again. But yeah, how do we all like flow so seamlessly, and how do we not like, I guess, want to beat each other up or something like that? I don't know. I'm always about helping people. And so I just want to see everyone win. And I realize there's a lot of money inside this field to help people out, support people. So I don't feel a need to try to like sabotage anyone. It's not really how it was taught. I want to see MarKeisha become successful, buy her private jet, fly all around the world, right? If that's what she wants to do. Same for Nigel, same for Gladys, and same for Paul, right?
Yeah, in my opinion, I feel like it's not about competing with each other. Just like he said, it's about helping people. So I think that's why we all relate together. Like we all have that passion to help people succeed. And so I at least don't see them as competition. We don't see each other as competition. We see each other as maybe friends or colleagues. We're trying to help people. I think that's where it's coming from. And so there's no reason to compete. And by the way, we all provide slightly different services, even though it's cybersecurity, right? But our offer is definitely slightly different. Like, for example, if to work with me, I work with like entry level people to provide them direction on what to do next, right? How to get into this field. But I know that Ken is more on the side, like sometimes I will refer people to him because I know I can't help them or they are not looking, they are not good for me. So I'll be like, hey, I know he provides services in this space of people who really want to grow a 6-figure career in terms of maybe you've already started your career in cybersecurity, but you want to advance to that next step, or say you want to get more hands-on labs in terms of specifically with different tools like Splunk, threat hunting. That's more of a Ken thing, right? He will help you with that. I trust that 100%. If you go to him, he's gonna get you to that step, right? But like I know well from MarKeisha, I can refer people to her where I know people who are really ready to get to that next step, where they need her guidance in terms of well, what do I do next, or in terms of how do I strategize or position myself in this field. So she's not going to necessarily work with entry level folks like me who probably don't even have money. But MarKeisha needs people who are ready to invest in themselves, who are ready to put the money down. Like I know each and every one of them what they could provide and how they could change your life. So sometimes if I meet people, I'll be like, hey, this is the person who can help you. I can help you here, but you're not in a good space where I can help you right now. So I think that's why we really understand each other. It's not about competing, it's about helping people in our best capabilities where we can.
Yeah. And I think like, in even, to take it further than what Gladys is saying, like, we have referral rules in place, right? One person, like, we know what everybody's offerings are. And so if we can't help with one thing, then it gets passed to the next person, and the next person passes it to the next person. And that's how it should be when you're doing business. And so, like, referrals matter. Networking matters in this sense.
And, Gladys, you said that everyone brings something slightly different to the table, but I'm going to offer a counter position on this. What about in a space where people are truly competing? And I'll use the space of, say, Splunk professional services delivery partners and Cribble delivery partners. Absolutely, there's going to be some competition there because everyone needs to put food on the table and pay and grow their business. But at the same time, there's also value in collaborating and increasing the size of the space and increasing the total addressable market together. And you will see a lot of that where you'll have these partners that do directly compete that also host these collaborative events and, again, try to make the space wider and try to develop more people and try to develop the products. So, again, even in a proper competitive market, there's still very much value in collaborating.
Yeah, but I'll tell you though, over time I realized in the cyberspace at least, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't see enough collaboration in everyone. I don't see enough people trying to help colleagues or trying to bring others up. So like unless you're up there, then you're gonna chill in with the big bros. Unless you're down there, you're gonna be down there. That's what I see at least, but I'm just being honest. But I feel like it shouldn't be that way. I feel like the number of followers you have on LinkedIn or on TikTok or on wherever you have those followers, I feel like it shouldn't matter. I feel like we should all be one helping people because that's the goal. So like right now, I have how many, like 25K followers on LinkedIn. I know Ken probably has a little less than that. Paul has a little less than that. But to me, like, I don't see that as something. I see that as us still helping people. That's not how I see it. But other people, unfortunately, it's not like that. So I think us collaborating this way is kind of showing that it's worth doing it. It's just the way it should be. So thank you for that question. I just thought it was a great question.
I agree. What other questions were they?
Oh, Natasha, to build a home lab, so I need to have different computer for that. I currently have a MacBook. You can use cloud servers, so like GCP, AWS, or Azure. They have free credits for your first 30 days for a lot of them. I know AWS are lights out. That's what we use for my classes. Like I think for the first 90 days is free for a lot of the servers, so you can use those as well to test and build things out. Or you can like virtualize your own environment or use like containerized servers. So it's up to you for that. If you need help with that, like just ping me or DM me, Paul or Nigel. We can get you set up for that.
Start with what you have. Not all MacBooks are created equally. If you're trying to run several VMs, if you're trying to run a Docker and OrbStack and Kubernetes on a MacBook Air, good luck. So it really depends on what you have. To Kenneth's point, you do have cloud services out there, but keep in mind there are expenses associated with that. So especially if you don't have the funds to invest in a separate home lab, pay very close attention to your cloud spend. There's a running joke about how newbies to AWS can go to sleep on a Friday, wake up Monday to a $50,000 bill. I haven't quite gotten the one that high, but I have gotten a $5,000 bill before by not paying attention to stuff. It is, on a long enough timeline, better to have a dedicated environment for development, whether that's in the cloud or whether that's locally. It is better to separate that, just so that your development tasks don't step on your day-to-day work. But if that's not in the cards right now, start with what you have. Just be aware of the resource constraints and be aware of the cost constraints.
I would say if you're entry level, if you're just trying to get into this skill, I think investing in a computer will make the most sense rather than a MacBook, honestly. I mean, you may not have the money now, but yeah, that will be a good investment. And there are a lot of affordable computers these days. Like, you don't need a fortune to buy a laptop. I don't think. I see a lot of options, especially during Thanksgiving. If you're in the US, right, during Thanksgiving, that's the best time to buy a new computer. And some people buy even used ones on eBay and different sites like that. So there's just a lot of options that you have.
Yeah, you can go on IDS on Amazon. You like an old terabyte Dell for like $300, like an old server, which isn't too expensive. That should host most of your needs. You're not trying to run like Fortnite or like Call of Duty on it, so you should be fine. I'm too old to play those games now. Let me see. Yeah, just any other last minute questions, please drop into the chat for us. I'm going back to see what didn't we answer from you guys. This is from Samuel. What's the future, especially with the massive increase in AI tools and machine learning? Paul, I'll let you go first.
The reality is we don't know right now. That's still a wide open space. It's being figured out. There's AI is making some really, really big promises right now. But what we're seeing is that when it comes to actually implementation and adoption, we're seeing a really, really slow progress there, to be candid. AI is making some really big promises. Practitioners, rightfully so, have some very, very significant concerns on those. And us consulting agencies have added concerns about if we start implementing these tools into our workflow, what does that create for a risk profile for our clients? So I think that one thing that we can say for certain is that AI will continue to be a part of that story, and it will slowly become a more prevalent part of that story. Now, the other side of that, you asked two things. You asked machine learning, which are both somewhat a form of AI. Machine learning is going to become more prevalent. Machine learning is used to predict future states based upon algorithmic analysis of past states. And I think that as things like generative AI remain uncertain, by comparison, quasi-certainty of machine learning is going to become more important, and it's going to be relied upon more for business decisions because it has a longer track record and it's been able to prove itself out longer.
MarKeisha?
For me, I mean, I would definitely say, when it comes to AI nowadays, employers are expecting, at least in the future, in the next few years, employers will be expecting their candidates or their employees to understand AI, data, cybersecurity, tech literacy, because it's going to be on a rise, right? So I think that it's going to be really important that people start learning AI. And I'm not just talking about generative AI. People think AI and they only think about Gen AI. Again, AI has been existing for way longer than a year or two that you're just hearing a lot more about it. So you definitely want to make sure that you are knowledgeable in the space if you want to continue working in the industry, because and lots of people think that AI is going to replace people, and I do not think that. Will some people's jobs or roles and responsibilities be replaced by AI? Yes, but it doesn't mean it's going to be the majority of people. AI is reshaping your job and how you do that job. That's it. And how you work with the AI is what's going to get you ahead. I also think that in the future, from what I'm seeing based on AI, that companies are going to be putting a greater emphasis on people being able to demonstrate their capabilities over those certifications and degrees, what we were talking about in the very beginning. So, and that's, in my opinion, that's because of AI. So again, just start thinking about how AI may be changing your role as a whole, because now we are moving towards more companies wanting to look at agentic AI to automate your tasks. And that also means there's going to be a demand for people who can govern those tasks and validate and secure and operationalize AI systems. That is a thing. So that's why when I said information security analyst roles are increasing, and how Paul mentioned even getting into auditing, it's because of the AI. You are going to have a lot more roles coming down the pipeline for GRC and AI governance, and even threats, looking at threats and incident response and validating those things, and cybersecurity as a whole. So just again, think about where we're going in this world. That's where you need to be going to.
Yeah, I would say the future is going to be this. AI risk are now enterprise level priorities. So prompt injection, data leakage, hallucinations, all of these things are now prioritized or will be prioritized risks going forward. I would also say the regulation is accelerating when it comes to AI. So think AI risk frameworks, think mandatory vendor assessments and documentation when it comes to AI, all of these different things as well. But also the main point that I'm starting to see a little bit is pathways are forming. So AI is no longer an ML or machine learning researchers kind of lane. It is being integrated with AI security engineering. There's AI risk slash GRC analyst. It's going into roles with like, I was saying on this really early, but like prompt engineering, prompt security specialist, things like that I see in the near future. But the biggest things is there's going to be more frameworks. There's going to be more organization adoption with AI, and then the talent clarity, the skill sets that you may need to understand when it comes to LLMs and things like that is going to be more talked about in the future and things like that.
Awesome. And our last question or answer will be this from LinkedIn user, because it doesn't say. Is will having a Security Plus cert be a good support to put the first step into the security world? In addition, I have Google Cybersecurity Professional Certification.
I guess I'll go first with that. Oh, you want to go, Nigel? Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with the Security Plus, first of all, this is something that people don't know. If you have your Google Cybersecurity certification already, just make sure you already got your discount from Google. They will give you a 30% discount code to apply towards the Security Plus when you're ready to take that. So keep that in mind. That's a big advantage. Once you have that code, then you're good to take the Security Plus. So my answer to this right now will be, yes, you need to take the Security Plus to get into this field. It is not a requirement. You don't have to, but it's going to separate you from many other people. Given that you already have the Google cert, I think it just makes sense to get the discount and then apply to the Security Plus, which is it's going to almost $500 now. It's crazy. The Security Plus, every year the price is increasing. So that 30% should get you at around like $300 for the cert. So which is a good option in my opinion. I would say take it. But this is general advice. I always hate to give general advice to people, because in my coaching program or roadmap, what I do is I give advice based on your specific situation. Taking the Security Plus cert depends on a lot of things, like your age, your current financial situation, your family situation. Do you have kids? Do you not have kids? Like all these things, they're all determinants, because someone who is 20 years old right now, they got their whole life to live, 20, 25. They got time in their life. So you can take all the certifications you want to take. I don't have any problem with you. You got time. But let's say you're 50 years old. There's no time to waste around. Like the kids are there. Maybe some are already in college. They're looking up to you, the wife, the stuff. There's just a lot that's going on in your life at 50 or even 40. So going through the Security Plus is not necessarily the best option for you, especially if you don't have financial resources. So there's just a lot that goes into making that decision. And I hate to give public general advice to everyone, but in general, it is great to have the Security Plus, in my opinion. But I don't think it is a necessity to get into this field. I've personally worked with people who don't have any certification and they got the job. So you don't have to. That's my answer.
Trying to be nice. Look, I don't know where the security plus, I get it. I understand it and I'm not knocking it. But my thing is this. You should really sit with yourself after you get the security plus and soak in that first hour after you get that certification. And then once you get that certification, if you got an interview call right after that, would you be ready for an interview for a SOC analyst role? Ask yourself that question right after you get the cert. I think what needs to happen is the mindset and strategy in getting to cybersecurity needs to be flipped. Security Plus is a baseline to understand language and lingo. The Security Plus is going to give you a literacy baseline. So when I talk about the CIA triad or IAM or risk, you actually know what I'm saying. But it's not going to give you the job skills to go be a SOC analyst or vulnerability management or whatever domain. It's going to give you the literacy. You're going to know the terms. That is what the Security Plus is going to give you, in my opinion. You need to, but if let's say you do home labs, you build stuff, and when you're building stuff, you know, oh, this is roles, this is authentication, this is authorization. When you go take the Security Plus after you've done the hands-on stuff, you're going to be like, I know what all of this is. I know the lingo. So the Security Plus will be that much easier for you to obtain, and it'll just give you the Security Plus tells me you know the literacy that I'm going to say to you. Not that you can do a role or specific like functions, but we can talk in the same lingo. You need to then build upon the Security Plus and say, how can I apply the lingo that I now understand? So don't have a strategy. I'm not crapping on the Security Plus, but don't hold it as a holy grail cert that's going to get you into cybersecurity. It's going to get you to be able to speak in a group setting like us. So if I say something like about risk, everyone on this call is going to understand what I'm saying. And maybe they have the Security Plus, maybe they don't. But that's what's going to happen. I really think the strategy going into and getting that first role needs to switch. It needs to be, what can I get my hands on? And then use the cert to validate that I know what I'm doing. Not let me validate myself by, look, everyone, I got a Security Plus like everyone else. And then be like, oh, I'm going to get a job. No, crap, get that out of your mindset. You've been sold a lie. I'm sorry. Security Plus is a baseline. It's a literacy cert so that you understand when I say authentication and authorization, you know the difference. If I say risk, you know the difference between the different types of risk. That's it. It's not going to put you in a role and I give you an interview on a SOC analyst and say, if this malicious IP address was coming from this location, how would you triage it from start to finish? The Security Plus is not going to tell you that. And that's what you're going to be asking in the interview. I'm done.
He starts with, I'm going to be nice, and ends with, you've been sold a lie. You're not wrong.
I think Farron, for example, keeps mentioning government, right? And when you're working for the government, they are expecting you to have these certifications for you to be able to even be competitive against other people. And that means entry level as well. So I guess in that, you know, what do you say, Nigel, about 100%. That? And also there is Tech Plus. It's Tech Plus, right? That CompTIA has now, that new cert. Which
they've
is
got A plus, they've got Tech Plus, they've got a few pluses.
Yeah.
So great point. And I will counter it with this. For the government side, yes, the Security Plus covers the DoD requirement you need in order to get security roles. That has to be part of your strategy. If you say, hey, I want to go into this sector, or I'm just open to everything, then yes, maybe you want to get the Security Plus so that you're open for security roles in the government side. But I would still say during that time, I'm spending more time learning the information, the hands-on skills, because I took the Security Plus was a cakewalk when I know how to do all the hands-on stuff, when I understand how computers talk, how to triage, how to do all these things. I could have took it with my eyes closed because it's all just terms. You can take 5 practice dump question quizzes and pass the Security Plus. Now, if you want to go into the government side, yes, you need a DoD requirement, 80, whatever it's called. Paul probably knows it, but like, yes, you need a requirement to get security roles, and the Security Plus covers that. So yes, get the Security Plus, but still, I'm not saying don't get it. Just don't hold it to the holy grail like it's going to be your silver line to get the role. No, it's a literacy type of cert. You're going to learn a whole bunch of terms and what they mean. I'm sorry. CompTIA, I'll still do business with y'all. I'm sorry.
CompTIA, like,
All right.
put him on the blacklist.
Too late for that, Nigel. Too late for that.
Ambassador. He can go elsewhere.
That's what we have post-processing.
Keegan, that's great that you got that Tech Plus. I think I had asked you how you did on it or how you thought it was, but okay, yeah.
But that should be it for this live stream for this time. I'm probably going to plan to do another one with everyone here, probably in early April after my birthday. Because I think this is the best one we've done so far. Even we're like an hour and a half, and people are still joining, so that's very impressive. That's not thanks to me. That's thanks to y'all, and no one cares about me. So I'm glad that everyone was able to make it. Again, like closing notes. Cyber Range is open, right? Nigel and Paul are part of it. If you want access towards it at all, just let me know. You've probably been seeing like my students been posting inside of LinkedIn other cool things we're doing. So if you want to join, just let me know. We'll give you access towards it if you join a membership for it. And then everyone here, I think everyone here is on LinkedIn, so you can directly connect with us if you have questions about trying to support MarKeisha or doing business with her. Same for Gladys, or same for Nigel or Paul. Just reach out towards us. We're here to help and support.
There's another question in the chat, Kenneth, and this person's coming from Twitter, so they're not on LinkedIn right now. So if we can get that and it's directed towards Nigel.
Nigel. Hi, Nigel. So what would you advise you learn or study first before going for Security Plus?
You're on mute.
Mute, Nigel.
Cool. First things first, I would tell you to study before you get your Sec Plus is understand the different domains of security. What are the different roles? Secondly, learn basic technical fundamentals. Understand how computers talk. Learn about Linux. Learn about Windows. Learn about the difference between. I saw the balloons. So let me know the difference.
What was up with the balloons though? I was like, what?
They're just, you know what I'm saying? They're congratulating.
They're celebrating what he's sharing.
Exactly.
Oh, amazing.
Exactly.
I was like, are we on TikTok now or what?
Yeah. So yeah, find a role, learn basic technical fundamentals, learn how computers talk, learn basic networking protocols, ports, how Linux and Windows work, learn the difference between authentication, authorization, learn the different logs and telemetry, basic fundamental technical foundations. After that, learn a cloud platform, whether it's AWS, Azure, GCP. Pick one, learn how it works, learn the terminology, and be able to maneuver within the cloud platform. Fourth, start doing hands-on labs. Do it within the cloud platform. Set up an account, build it, make it unsecure, and then secure it. Fifth, get certifications that align with the roles that you're interested in. So if I want to be a SOC analyst, I may get I would get the CYSA. That cert for CompTIA is more scenario-based. So when you go into the interview, you'll be able to answer more scenario-based questions. Because if you do the steps I'm telling you in the order, you're going to know all the lingo in this CompTIA Security Plus anyway. So boom. After that, network, come to avenues like this, join communities like Gladys's, MarKeisha's, Kenneth's, and continue just to build upon what you're learning. That is what you should learn. It's not super hard. Learning the technical stuff is not hard. It's all the other stuff outside of that is what's really going to shape you. So basic fundamentals, learn how computers talk, learn the basic security fundamentals, and build some home labs. that is how you're going to be able to really show out in an interview. And that's the route, you know, you should take, in my opinion.
Yeah. And just to add to that, I always advise people start with, if you're completely beginner, like you've never done tech before, I always think it's a good idea to go through the A plus and Network plus first. Definitely don't take the certification, but you need the content. You need to study for it at the least. Like, if not, you're gonna be so lost in this field. Like, even if you start working after that, you're gonna be so lost, and you're gonna need to go back to that content. So A plus and Network plus are great content to like, and it's free. The Professor Messer stuff on YouTube, like, just go get it. Just go study. That's all you need to do. Yeah.
Awesome. But I think that is it for the question. So again, you can connect with us. We're on LinkedIn. I don't have Twitter Premium, so I wasn't streaming directly towards it. But MarKeisha, you can connect with her on there as well. I'll get it eventually, even though I don't want to pay Elon Musk any more money than I already do. But I'll figure that out. Otherwise, I'll see everyone next time.
All right.
All right.
Bye, guys.